Hi everyone, welcome back to Stamp with Anna, and today I'm going to show you another card that I made using the new shimmer mists the new shimmer paints that Stampin' Up! Has introduced in the fall winter catalog. And today's technique is spraying. So this is the card we're going to make, and it's a beautiful card, and I must tell you that it is a lift from a card of Rachel Tessman, and she is Stamp Your Art Out. I love that name. On social media. I changed it up a little bit. She did hers, I believe, with a white background, and here she did a DSP, I'm pretty sure. And she did not use the copper pieces here. She used champagne. I didn't have any champagne foil, so I went with the copper. And instead of the pearls on mine, she put a bow, and instead of have a beautiful day, she put a reason to celebrate. So it's changed up just a little bit. But anyway, I was so inspired by her elegant card that I decided to change it up a little bit and put my own twist on it. They do say that imitation is the greatest form of flattery, so I guess it's a compliment that I liked her card so much I copied it. So with that being said, let me show you what we need for supplies. I have a piece of thick Very Vanilla, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I have a piece of regular Very Vanilla, 4 by 5 1/4. I have a small piece of Very Vanilla, 4 by 2. Then I have a strip of copper foil, 4 by, it's probably 1/2 inch or so. And then I have a little scrap of copper foil, and that just needs to be big enough for my die. So the stamp set that I'm using is it's a bundle. It's excuse me, called the Painted Glass. And I'm going to use this one that says have a beautiful birthday. Oh no, I'm sorry. This one I made saying have a beautiful birthday. This one I need a sympathy card, so I'm going to use this one here with deepest sympathy. And it comes with a coordinating die set that's called Stained Glass Thinlits. It's lots of great dies there. But I'm going to use this half dome. Excuse me. So the technique we're going to use with the shimmering paints, and again, the shimmering paints come in 4 different colors. They come in Champagne Mist, Bright Copper, Vegas Gold, and Frost White. And today I used the Bright Copper. And what I did was I have a spray mist, one of these mist, little mist sprayers that Stampin' Up! Sells. They're in a package of 2 for $3, so they're a great buy. And what I did was I filled it about 3/4 of the way with regular household rubbing alcohol. And then I put in a couple drops of the shimmer mist, and the shimmer paint, excuse me. I just shook it up, and then this opens up like this. And after I put in my alcohol, I just dropped in a couple drops of the shimmer paint. Put it all back together, nice and snug, and shook it up nicely so that it gets all mixed. You can see it's all mixed in there. And the reason I use the rubbing alcohol, you can use water, but the reason I use the rubbing alcohol because the alcohol allows it to dry faster. So after I spray my project, it's going to dry very, very quickly. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in my small piece of Very Vanilla, which is 4 by 2, and I've covered my work surface with a piece of scrap paper. You can put a paper towel down, a cloth, whatever you want. And I'm going to shake this up. Now, I find the best way to avoid puddling and the best way to avoid oversaturating your paper is if you spray from above 10 inches or so. So I like to stand up, and I'm going to take my little nozzle, place it, aim it right towards my paper, and just spray until I get the color that I want. And you'll see that it curls up, and that's fine. I'm just going to put another squirt right there. Oh, didn't get where I wanted. Okay, so there it is. And I'm going to put that aside, and it's going to dry. And you're going to see just how gorgeous it looks when it dries. So while that's drying, cutting first. Okay, so what I did here, I have a little scrap of copper, and I have a piece of the permanent, it's adhesive sheets that Stampin' Up! Sells, and I cut a piece just about the same size as my scrap of copper. I'm going to turn my copper over, and using my paper piercing tool, I'm going to take off this top layer, and I'm going to attach this to my copper piece. Okay, now that it's nice and attached, I'm going to take this die and I'm going to go run this through the Big Shot. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have cut out my little piece here, and my shimmered piece of cardstock is dry. You can see just how gorgeous it is, and I'm going to show you the difference between this one here and this one. Now remember those couple extra squirts that I gave it? It just darkened it. So I would suggest, if you want it to go darker, after you spray it, let it dry. And if you think you want it darker, then spray it. Don't keep spraying it while it's wet, because you will make a floppy, wet, soggy piece of cardstock that just may tear on you. So I waited for it to dry, and then I spritzed it again, and that's the color that I got. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to put just a piece of strip of snail along the top, and I'm going to line this up because I just want a little bit of copper to show, just to separate it from my white cardstock. And as you can see, it's a tiny bit longer there. So I'm going to bring in my snips and just cut that so that it's nice and even. And that's going to go right there. So now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to attach that. And I'm going to use some snail. You might want to use something a little, if your paper is warped, well, let me get into that. If you warp your paper because it's so wet, turn it over, and with the heat tool, dry it on the back, and it will unwarp it. But if you find that it really needs a little more, a stronger adhesion, if you have any of the fast fuse that was discontinued, you can certainly use that. That works great. And if you do want fast fuse, on the clearance rack, they have, while supplies last, they have some refills. Okay, so there's basically the front of my card. Now I want to do my sentiment right here, and I'm going to emboss that. So I'm going to bring in my Versamark ink. I'm going to stamp this up. And I'm going to put that right around here. I just know that that's where it's going to go. Basically, I want it to go above where that's going to be. So I'm going to put it right about here. Make sure I have it going in the right direction. There we go. Now I'm going to sprinkle that with some copper embossing powder. And I love that Stampin' Up! Has the copper foil, the copper shimmer paint, and the copper embossing powder, so that I can make everything match beautifully. And I don't want any of my powder to get stuck on this side, so I'm going to just hold my card up this way. And I have a fan on behind me, which wasn't really smart because now my embossing powder is going to just fly all over the place when I lift it up, but that's all right. All right, looks good. drop this back in here. And now I'm going to heat emboss this. And as I always say, because I think you can never say it too much, these metallic embossing powders are just so beautiful. I love watching them come to life. Look at that. Is that not just absolutely beautiful? Just spectacular. Okay, so now I'm going to attach this to the front of my card. And I'm going to use some snail. Just center that up, press that all down, and it's beautiful. Now I'm going to come back to my die cut piece, and this will pop right out. And when I pull this backing off, this piece here has now become like a sticker, and I'm just going to pop these few pieces out that didn't come out when I ran it through the Big Shot. They have adhesive on them, so they're stuck to my fingers. And now I'm going to, look, isn't that just so delicate? Now I'm just going to take that and bring it right under there and press. And that is just a beautiful, beautiful element to add to this card. And the last thing I'm going to do is just adorn it with some pearls. I thought pearls were better than rhinestones. It is a sympathy card after all, and I didn't want it to be too blingy. So I'm just going to apply these right here, and it goes rather quickly. These are tiny ones, and I don't know, I got these before they reconfigured the package when they came out with the new catalog in June, so I don't even know. I probably should know if I'm a demo, right? I don't even know if these tiny ones are still available, but I still have some, so I'm using them. And there is my card. I just love it. So here it is. Have a beautiful birthday with a lighter spritz, and here it is with deepest sympathy with a darker spritz. And I just hope that this camera will pick up that shimmer and shine. And I think coordinating it with the metallic, copper metallic, and the copper foil, it's just, I think it's stunning. And this piece here is just so delicate. So there we have it. There's another way to use your shimmer paint. A spray mister, a little bit of household rubbing alcohol, and a couple drops, and you just get this beautiful background. If you have any questions at all about this project or any of the products that I've used, please contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And if you do not have a demonstrator with whom you work, I would be happy to drop you a catalog in the mail. Just contact me through my blog and I'll get that right out to you. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and I'll catch you back here with some more great ideas on how to use these beautiful shimmer paints.